Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface with my first ever WildStar dungeon guide. Very excited indeed. And I am in the ruins of Kel Voreth, and there are 3 bosses in this dungeon. Grom the Corpsemaker, Slave Master Drock, and Forge Master Trogan. But first things first, don't walk into the spikes. They are a stun trap, and you can see they're scattered all around the room, so avoid them at all costs during this fight. So try and attack Grom the Corpsemaker, boss number 1, somewhere in the middle of the room. You see, I nearly got charged into one there. So abilities. What we've just seen is the random charge that he does on a player. It hits for low to moderate damage, about 2.2k. We have approximate health pools of around 7 to 9k, depending on class and gear. So 2.2k is taking out roughly 20 to 25% of your health. He'll then do Thrash, which is like a 360-degree donkey kick that comes out at various angles. A good way to avoid it is to see where it's going to land on the ground and then roll into it once it's procced. Because once the ability is procced and you roll into it, you won't actually take the damage. So there you go, dodging right across the Thrash, and I took 0 damage. I did get hit by the first one, and again, hit for low to moderate damage, about 2.2k, and that time the charge did for lower. Bellow is the one to look out for. It struck my robot and did 5.5k damage, so you do not want to get caught in that. It will do high amounts of damage to you. Make sure you can dodge out and back away from it. It is 360, there's no avoiding it. Get out of the way. And then we have the Scratch Itch ability, the final ability where he gets 3 adds to aid him into the battle. What I would recommend is not what's done here though. Group them up and DPS chain stun them. Someone use their stun, burn them. When that drops off, use another stun, burn them, etc, etc. Now, because some of the boss's abilities are castable, it does look like they are potentially able to be interrupted. If you want to know how to use the interrupt system in WildStar, it's very clever indeed. It operates around your stun ability. If you can't stun a boss or a mob because they are simply too powerful, it will act as an interrupt instead. Now, one interrupt simply isn't going to cut it in a boss fight. You have to chain your interrupts with other people. If you hit your interrupts together, then it will actually stop the boss from casting their spell. Very cool mechanic. Not necessarily all the time, but definitely works with some abilities that we've found out so far. After that, it becomes a rinse and repeat fight, but do make sure you get the adds down when he does his Scratch Itch, because if you don't, you can see there, we've still got one up. You could potentially become overwhelmed and then wipe. I actually joined this group after they had wiped on this boss, so it is possible. And there we go. My first attempt on it, and we actually got it down. No loot for me, but it's not about loot. It was all about getting the boss defeated, so that's really, really cool. Second up, we have Slave Master Drock. I've got to say, I really did enjoy this fight. I mean, I really did enjoy this fight. Starts off innocently enough. You pull the boss and you just start to do some DPS. You just keep doing this, burning him down, until he decides to teleport out of the battleground, and this will instigate phase 1. This is more of a phase fight than it is a ability fight. So you get all these bombshell constructs coming in. Ignore them until the very final one by the portal, and then just blow this one up. Leave all the others. They're going to self-destruct when they get to their home, and you need to have the first one down because you need that gap. There you go. Thigh gap at the top. That's your safe zone. He'll also do some random laser beams throughout the course of the fight. They're very slow. They appear on the ground, easily dodged out of, so don't worry too much about them. The boss will come back. You go into another burn phase until this happens. He brings the enslavement units in. But not only that, he combines them with a suppression wave. You need to destroy your enslavement unit ASAP and then try and dodge inside, like you just did there, of the suppression wave. Get inside that and go into the boss. Now you'll notice we lost a DPS, which to me means they didn't destroy their enslavement unit in time and they got struck by the suppression wave coming in. Now it hit me there, 3.3k. That is moderate damage. That's a third of my health. Probably over, slightly over a third of my health. 40% of my health gone in one hit. So it does hit really, really hard indeed. And not only that, it dazes you too. So it knocks you on your ass and you're sparked out. This is the next phase. And these are the Destructo constructs. What they will do is they will fixate on a specific target. That means they will only attack the target that they have chosen. If they get to that target, they will go into self-destruct mode. So you don't want that to happen. So the rest of the DPS attack them. The person who is fixated, run away. Melees, you're absolutely fine to come into the red zone here on these constructs, as long as you are not the fixated target. Keep DPSing, and they are CCable too. So what probably would have been a little bit more prudent of me would be to let them group up, then do a huge stun on all of them, and then we could have done a little bit of a burn. But there, they reached their target, or their time, allotted time ran out, and then they did their mass self-destruct ability. And thankfully, I think we all got away with that. Ooh, that time I got hit by the suppression wave for 4k. Not my finest hour in the dodging there, but never mind. Now, this is going to where things get a little bit more interesting, because not only are we just burning the boss down, but he will now start to bring in bombshell constructs to the fight too. So you can't really just stand around and DPS the boss in one spot, because they have a huge blast radius. The tank is now going to have to start to move the boss around the place. And I got tagged by one of the bombs exploding. 3.4k again. That's a pretty decent amount, around 40% of my health pool. Don't really want that. And for some reason, we're not sure how, I took the aggro. The tank completely lost all the aggro, and I suddenly became the tank. The boss, though, is on really minimal health, but I can't survive. I'm a DPSer, I'm not a tank. But thankfully, when you're dead, you can still res up and run around the battlefield. So I could still get a decent view of the fight. And there we go. Slave Master Drock defeated. Was an excellent fun fight indeed. Awesome. And this takes us into the final boss fight of the dungeon, and it's Forge Master Trogan. And very much like the Slave Master, this is a really, really fun fight. So first part, you pull the boss, but don't go near it. He's going to do like a pulsating AoE all around him. You don't want to get caught in that. This is simply now an avoidance phase. See where all the meteors are firing down and landing in the battlefield? Just move out the way. And yes, my armor is now destroyed by all the trash, and we haven't been able to repair. Not to worry, it hasn't affected my damage, thankfully. Once he's done that for a little bit, he'll join in the fight. Just be careful here, because I think I did a little bit too much damage because I popped my cooldowns, and it appeared that I took the aggro. So maybe just let the tank get a couple of seconds on it to cement that in first before you start doing your damages. This is a burn phase, nothing to worry about here, but it moves into a Forge Master's Call. You've got to go around collecting these green orbs. Don't let them get to the boss, it will empower the boss. But if you collect them, you can see you now get the empowerment. I've got 2 stacks of it. Those other 2 people to my left, they got 3 stacks of it. Whatever it does, just don't let it get anywhere in the boss. You need to collect them. And then go back into a burn phase again. Still, the meteors are coming down from the sky, so you need to be constantly avoiding that. And then he'll go back into another Forge Master's Call. So again, go round collecting the orbs. I got only 1? 2. I managed to get a second one that time. So it's really cool. So the nice little mechanics there. Then he runs back to his forge. This is where you need to be as far back as possible, and he will do Exonite Weapon. The reason why I said go far back is because the further back you are, the more spread the damage becomes. So you can see all these like whirling fire blades. These are what you need to avoid. If you're far back, they start to spread out, gives you more room to move. The nearer you are to the boss at the time, the less room you have for maneuver. If they hit you, you are going to get crushed. They do an awful lot of damage. Get hit by 1, you might survive. Get hit by 2, maybe not. Definitely not 3. Once you've managed to avoid that, we go back into another burn phase where he'll do a Forge Master's Call, but he'll combine it with an Exonite weapon as well. So you've got the Forge Master's Call plus an Exonite weapon, so you've got to go around collecting the green orbs while avoiding not only the meteors coming down, but also the whirling blades of fiery crap which are going around the place. I managed to get 3 that time. Nearly lost our tank there. Touch and go, but the Forge Master is now down to 17 odd K health, and we go back into a burn phase, and I think this is where we drop him. He's just about to go into another one, but no, we stopped it, So that was the dungeon complete. This is where you get ranked now, so it tells you the time that it took you, 79 minutes, 57 seconds, yes. I was number 1 at staying alive, so I died the least, and I was number 3 in damage, not so good when there's 3 DPSs, 1 tank and 1 healer. But remember, I joined later on. I didn't join straight away, so I don't know how many times they actually wiped on the first boss. No loot, but I'm not bothered. It was all about making sure that we killed the bosses. That's what we did. So there we go. That's my boss guide to the ruins of Kel Voreth, and I really hope that it helps you guys and girls. Please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook and twitch.tv/Heal vs Babyface for live streaming, and I shall be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye bye.